Hello, America! Tonight we are lucky enough to be with Teacher of the Year, Barbara Roberts. Along with her classroom management strategies, Miss Roberts is known for her techniques in using cooperative learning groups. First of all, congrats for title of Teacher of the Year, Miss Roberts. Thanks so much, Ken. I've had a lot of jobs, from being a doctor to ballerina to scuba diver, but being an educator is the most rewarding. That's good to hear. More teachers need to take pride in their work. So, what is your secret in successfully using cooperative learning groups? Ken, there is no secret. I use strategies Robert Marzano's research. I also stayed consistent, and that's what worked for me. Oh yeah, Robert Marzano. He knows his stuff. Can you tell me in details how you implicated the strategies? Of course. First and foremost, Ken, I got to know my students. I would build a relationship with them. If you don't know anything about teaching, you need to know that a good teacher-student relationship is crucial for a successful learning environment. Then, once I got to know my students, I would use cooperative learning groups to further their education. But, Miss Roberts, how did you decide on how to group the children? Did you just randomly pick students like they did when I was in school? Oh, no! There is always a method to anything a teacher does. If you listen to Marzano, there are 5 keys to group children in successful groups. First, there has to be positive interdependence. The students need to know their strengths and weaknesses in each other's as well. Then, the students need face-to-face promoted interaction. They need to be able to recognize good efforts along with their successes. Good teachers already model this in their classroom anyways. They also need to know how to be accountable. Once they realize they've had a key job in their group will become successful. They also need to be reflective in their accountability and how well their group works together. Students also need interpersonal and small group skills, and basically need to be taught how to decide the roles in the group and also to resolve conflicts responsibility. That's a lot to remember. So I understand what is used to group the students. I understand your strategy. But how do the students know what group they are in? And how do they know where they go do their work once you do group them? As an educator, everything is already pre-planned. I have colored tokens I give out that mark what group you're in. I give out the tokens after explaining the instructions so they can concentrate on what is expected from the group. I also put coordinated tablecloths on groups of desks so they have a designated workplace. For example, if you get a red token, you sit at the table with the red tablecloth. The tables will also have the supplies needed to finish the work as a group, along with paper instructions to help them stay on task. That's clever! How big are your groups usually? And what is the biggest mistake you think teachers make when using cooperative learning groups? Depending on the assignment, 4 to 6 students. I believe the biggest mistake teachers make in cooperative learning groups is that they group by ability. Studies show that grouping by ability is ineffective. If grouping by ability is the worst way to group, what's the best? I group by my students' interests. At the beginning of the year, I gave them a little personality test to figure out their likes and dislikes. Once I choose groups, I put students who have common interests together. And later in the school year, when I just naturally get to know my students, I would group by strengths and weaknesses. For example, in science, while studying invertebrates, they had to create a poster board advertising a certain group of invertebrate. So when I was choosing the groups for that project, I made sure to put an artistic child in each group. Oh, that's clever, Miss Roberts. Well, I'm afraid we're run out of time, but always